What's going on, guys? It is Jack here, and I just got back from Greensboro a few minutes ago after South Carolina's 88-86 loss at the last second against NC State earlier this evening. And normally I would do one of these post-game recap videos right after the game ends, and it would have been up a long time ago for you guys to see. But since I had to make a 2.5 hour drive back from Greensboro this evening, post-game press conferences ran pretty long and had to get some writing in, was not able to get my full thoughts in right after the game. But I wanted to share a quick few thoughts from this game and still get it out just because this game was not on television. So not everyone got to see what happened tonight as the Gamecocks did lose at the last second, like I mentioned earlier this evening. Number one, I think South Carolina looks like a much better team compared to last year. It's easy to say that because the Gamecocks were the worst team in the SEC last season and just could not get wins consistently once conference play began. And I know it's early. I know it's just an exhibition game. But from what I saw earlier this evening, this team looks a lot more like what Lamont Paris had in mind compared to a year ago. I think some of the transfer guys that they brought in have been impactful. Michi Johnson had a very good game tonight. I know he technically is a returning Gamecock, but he ultimately did come in from the transfer portal from Ohio State for a second time. So I'm going to count him there. Kobe Knox made a big shot towards the end of this game. I think even Elijah Strong, a transfer from Boston College, also had a very nice game tonight. I mean, all those guys finished in the double figures. And then we got to talk about Eli Ellis. I mean, the kid lived up to every billing of what people had in mind for him. I mean, I think some people, including myself, probably worried a little bit of how his performances in the overtime Elite League with the YNG Dreamers, how his high school performances and his game and his style was going to translate over to the college level. Well, he shined tonight. He was easily South Carolina's best performing player, leading the way with 23 points on 7 of 10 shooting. Really got them going in the second half once NC State came back to life and was able to tie and take the lead at one point, and then Ellis hit his first 4 3-point shots of the second half to really get things going to where South Carolina did have a double-digit point lead. And that brings me to the next point here is that, again, it's just an exhibition game. It does not count towards the standings. Even Lamont Paris after the game said he had no disappointment in this game at all, even with the way it ended. But we can't ignore the fact that the Gamecocks did have a double-digit point lead. I think it was 11 midway through the second half. And then NC State came back for a second time, this time to take the lead and eventually win on a near buzzer-beater shot at the end of the game by Paul McNeil on a three-pointer. It was good defense by South Carolina, but just a better shot at the end of the game. And I think that's where might be a little bit of concern, something just to get cleaned up in the fact that they did have 15 turnovers in this game, 10 of which came in the second half. And the shooting did go a little bit cold at a point in that period where NC State was able to go on a big run, get themselves back in the game after trailing by a lot when it looked like South Carolina was going to cruise to a victory. But that just did not happen tonight. Otherwise, three-point shooting was good. That was something we knew was going to be the case heading into the season, was that the Gamecocks were going to take a lot of three-pointers, and they certainly did in this game. Didn't hit a ton down the stretch, but still made 12 of 29 from deep on the night. And overall, they shot very well, 55.4% from the field, against a team that we don't know what NC State for sure is going to be this season, but with Will Wade now as the head coach and some of the players that they've brought in, and just talking to some people that cover NC State, they think this team's going to be pretty good. So yeah, I know typically in some of these exhibition games, like last year, South Carolina played Worcester, which is obviously Lamont Paris' alma mater. But you're playing a team at NC State that, yeah, they were bad last year, and yeah, South Carolina beat them in that secret scrimmage last season. But this is a really good test for this program right out of the gate. And yeah, they lost the game, but it was still close. South Carolina played pretty well in this game. Got to get a few things cleaned up, but NC State does as well. This was a good performance for the Gamecocks, one that I think should give people a lot of hope and positivity heading into the season. Optimism, I think, is the better word to put it, as this season does get going on Tuesday, November 4th, when North Carolina A&T comes into town. So I know it ran a little bit long, got a few thoughts in, but just figured I need to share them just since I didn't get a chance to do so right after the game, and also not many people, I don't think anyone at all, really got to watch this game since there were not many Gamecock fans in attendance in Greensboro tonight. So once again, South Carolina suffered an 88-86 loss to NC State in the exhibition game earlier this evening. The Gamecocks back in action for their regular season opener at CLA on November 4th, and I'll be there providing all live updates and coverage. So be sure to head over to GamecockCentral.com as men's basketball season is ramping up, and looking forward to a really interesting season ahead. I think South Carolina showed a lot of promise for what could be on the horizon this season. For GamecockCentral.com, I'm Jack Veltri.